So if anybody wants any information at all, she is on my platform, and then it's linked to her platform. And she's called Ellie. Just thought I'd say that.
Oh yes, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Ellie, yeah. She's from here, into like she's from Middlesbrough. She's here. She's my friend. She's one of like in the community, and she's absolutely amazing because she like obviously working and trans in the normal community work, and she teaches all that, and she's really good. She's really good. If anyone needs any information, she's there.
Maldrew, right, just put in the comments, and I don't know what you think of this, Victor. EQ said on the live that she's going to educate or guide, guide Alphaba, right? Because she's only 22. What do you have to guide? Let her act the way she wants to act. Why? She's not a puppet, man. You know what I mean?
I just ask though, what do you think about a mum's behaviour? Do you think a mum's behaviour is causing half of the things she does?
Can I just say something? I'm not being funny. Alphaba was probably one of
You've made
money. It's money. It's out of money. Right? She's put on a persona and she's doing what she's doing for making money.
Oh yeah, great.
She's doing what she's doing.
Bit of an echo.
Don't you swipe off your right back on?
Hi, Courtney.
Hi.
Hi, you right?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, are you? How old are you?
29.
Oh, okay. Do you have an opinion on the matter?
Alphaba, I don't know. I think some of her behaviour's it's disrespectful. Like, she's got no respect for herself, but I'm not anyone to judge, really, but...
Who cares? This is what I'm saying. Who cares? What society is saying? Well, we have to act a certain way.
Exactly.
We have to act like a man. We have to act like a woman. We have to be ladylike. We have to, wear makeup, and you can't fart and burp.
Yeah, she's her own person. We all fart and burp. We're all human at the end of the day, whatever gender we are.
Yeah, I just feel like everyone's going for Alphaba. Now, I don't know much about Alphaba. I'm not a fan. But, there's no difference between, like I said, her and Mama Kaz, as in surgery-wise, But, everyone's saying, well, Mama Kaz is a trans and Alphaba isn't because she acts a certain way.
No.
I also say speak for yourself as well, because I don't burp and fart, so I don't know what you're all going on about. Never burped and farted in my life.
No, I think the only difference between Mama Kaz and Alphaba, and Angie, you've got the nail on the head. They are the same. They're both biological males. They're both going through that journey at their own pace. But I think Mama Kaz has just taken a little bit more of a step to present herself more female. She's had laser surgery on her face, whereas Alphaba, you could draw that monobrow, she could shave, she could do a lot more. And I respect Alphaba's pronouns. It is she, her, it's how she presents herself. But for me, Mama Kaz always dresses like a lady. I know obviously we all wear, at the moment I'm wearing a trackie, so, and I'm a biological female, but I think Alphaba has such a platform to present herself even half as what she feels inside. And I think that's how I differentiate Mama Kaz to Alphaba, in my opinion anyway.
We've also, as well, a lot of people have seen fucking Alphaba's tackle on this platform more than they've seen the fucking own. Do you know what I mean? So I've never, ever, ever, ever seen Mama Kaz. Crackers. Absolutely crackers.
I think Alphaba as well, shown her facial hair growing back, and people have said, why don't you go get laser with all the money she's obviously made from the app?
But when we are going that low to point out certain things like that, with the scabies, the nits, the hive, I personally think that's going a bit too low.
I'm going to jump down and say goodbye to everybody. Thank you for letting me in. But I agree that if you act like a woman, you dress like a woman, go to bloody women's toilets. You shut the door, you don't see anything. That's it. That's my opinion. But everybody have a nice day, and I will chat later. Bye.
See you later.
So I'm talking as well. Great debate, Angie, and hopefully some things will come out of it positive. And I'll catch us all later. Bye.
Thanks, Joanne. See you later. Oh, what do people think about? Someone asked this in the question. Can I ask the question about schools? Now, I believe education shouldn't be taught. I think it's a minority. It's a small community. I don't think the trans community should be taught in schools because I think kids are already confused enough as it is. You know what I mean? I think that just comes
I
with.
don't think it's so much being trans. I think it's just, allowing the children to express themselves in a way that it's equality.
But my thoughts
I think it's come across, to schools or people in the wrong way. I think, it's the advertising for it has been shit.
Can I get my
my
opinion?
thoughts on that, Charlie? Though, if you're educating children on that, they're going to be children that are going to be confused about their sexuality and think they're trans when they're not, because it could actually look like it's kind of being thrown down their throats a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Think my thinkers could clearly see at 5 years old that I was going to be the queen of the class.
Can I give my opinion on this? Because I'm very passionate about this, yeah. When people say they don't think that, education on trans should be taught in school, I don't think education on anything that would have an impact on someone, so from someone's views. So, for example, people shouldn't be learning about the Bible in school because they learn about Adam and Eve and then they believe that that's the way that the life should be perceived moving forward. I don't believe, from education's perspective, I think you should be taught life skills when you're in school, which is like, how you survive when you leave school and what you're going to do when you've got your education and where you should be moving forward. Yes. No one should be talking about the Bible. No one should be talking about, this is how you should be when you're older and this is the Lord of the Lands and how you should stick by these rules. No one should be talking about anything like that. You should be going to school and getting your basic English, maths, science and things that are going to support you in life moving forward.
Nothing that's going to confuse kids. They're already confused,
or
man.
At least teach them about equality so we don't have certain things repeating.
Yeah. Hi, Jolie, baby.
Hi, Ange. I just wanted to say, obviously there's a lot of talk about transgender and things like that. Now, I'm 40 years old. I'm a mum to 7 children, and I have a transgender son who was born female, who is now male. And I just wanted to put it from a older generation point of view. Like, internet wasn't really about as I grew up. I kind of learnt more about computer and internet as my kids grow. My older kids are 22, 20 and 18 now. So a lot of the stuff I learned was through them. I found TikTok as Musically. I found out all about transgender through TikTok.
Are you a 70s baby, Joe?
I'm not quite. I'm 84.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I just think that I've been taught a lot about it from my kids. Like, you weren't educated until the internet came about. Conversations like this weren't had, feelings weren't put across. Teens and children weren't able to express themselves and say, hey, do you know what? I don't feel like a girl, I don't feel like a boy, I want to be this, I want to be that. When my son was born, obviously he was born a female, I knew from the moment he was born that he wasn't a female. And right up until he got older, I could just tell. So when he came out to me at about 10 or 11, I fully respected that. I was so uneducated because there wasn't nothing about it. I kind of had to learn as he learned about himself. And as I say, he's 20 now, and has gone through it all. So from a parent point of view, with a child being born female who's now a male, I don't have any problems about them going in the toilet and public toilet.
Can I ask, as a mum, how did that conversation come about? How was it put across to you from your child?
Well, he just came out of it, to be honest. He sat me down and said, I don't feel like I am a girl. I feel like I'm a boy. And me as a parent, I was not naive, but I was like, oh, maybe you're just a bit of a tomboy. I was the same when I was a kid, you'll find your feet. You haven't got to be fully feminine to be feminine. You can be a tomboy. I was a tomboy as a kid. I played in the woods. I was under cars, fixing cars. I was anything but girly. So I just presumed, to be fair, it was like a phase or he was finding himself. And it weren't till the years got on. And like I said, I educated myself through social media.
And guys in the chat saying, oh, you know, it's a child, it's a child. At the end of the day, people, this is reality.
I mean, people can sit there and say it's a child, it's a child. Yes, he was a child at 11 years old, but he's now 20 and he still feels the same. He's still, you know, gone through it. He's gone through the transition and it's who he is now. So you can't say, oh, they don't know what they're feeling because they're children. Well, they do. They do.
Absolutely, yeah, agree.
You know, my child was that known for being transgender that when he was in secondary school, the school gave him a toilet pass so that during class he could come out of class and go into the male's toilets to go to the toilet, because everybody looked at my child as he was male because that's how he looked, came across. And if you were to see or meet my child now, you wouldn't think for 1 second they were born female. You wouldn't. The way he comes across as male, and he has done ever since he was young. He had that, you know, he used to carry my bags. He used to, you know, just things that boys would do, he did. So, yeah, I think from a very young age, they know themselves. And I think parents need to, as much as it ain't, you know, known about and things like that, parents do need to listen to their children and respect who they are, no matter what age they're coming out and saying things.
And can I ask, how does he feel within himself?
He doesn't have any problems with it, to be fair. No, we don't have challenges at all.
Joe.
Sorry,
did you say how old he is?
he's 20 now.
He's 20.
Yep.
Can I just touch up on the school conversation? I've got grandchildren and my son is 12, is in school. Basically, I do get that they're going a bit OTT with all the different type of genders that you can be inside school. Because my granddaughter came home and she said, I'm non-binary. And I was like, what the hell is non-binary? It means that she's not into girls or boys. Too much information, like what they're trying to push on the children these days. I understand that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's all gone quiet.
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So I get, you know, you've got to teach them from young. I get that. But there is so many different types of bisexual, non-binary, homosexual, whatever. I don't know what it is. All these words that they're using inside schools is a bit too much.
People are saying non-binary don't mean what you've just said.
What does it mean then?
Well, they don't identify as a man or a woman.
They don't identify as a gender.
As a gender,
They
that's
identify
it.
as male or female.
Oh,
That's
I got
what
it
I
wrong,
thought.
my bad. Yeah. She come home and said that I'm non-binary. That she's like, she doesn't
Right, so
know
you
what
don't identify as a boy or girl, so you'd call them what, they or them or something.
They or them.
So there's too much. That's too much, like, you know, to teach them from young what that, like.
Can I ask, sorry, how old is did you say granddaughter?
Yeah, she's 10.
10, right, okay. So, like, for instance, my son's 12, and I know for a fact that in his school, when he was like 6, 7, he got taught family dynamics, so he's not getting taught about trans. I don't know, like, any schools that are really being taught, like, trans.
They're doing S.
No, but my question was, should they be taught it? That was the question.
So, what they're actually teaching in school, and it's actually, by the way, I don't know if you're aware, but LGBT stuff that's taught at school is only taught for the whole time of being at school is an hour and a half. That's all they're taught, an hour and a half through the whole time of education. And all they're being taught is that, like, kids might have two mums, might have two dads, like, at the early stages I'm talking about, not high school, but the early stages, they're being taught, like, you know, that they might have two mums, two dads, but the same as they're being taught that someone might live with their grandparents. Like, family dynamics is something that's so important for children to be taught so that people aren't being bullied. And this is what it's all down to, because when you're uneducated, I'm sorry, but it does create fear.
Yeah.
My daughter's 10, and obviously she watches things she probably shouldn't, like YouTube and stuff. She's fully aware of, like, you know, I've always taught her to just accept anyone as they are, but she's got friends that have got two mums and two dads because it's common now. That's, you know, when I was at school, it was like rare that your mums and dads were split up, but now there is lesbian couples and gay couples that have children, and she kind of just takes that in a stride. I think the schools are up against it enough with teaching them. Like, my daughter knows that they briefly did sex education. As I said, she's in a Catholic school, but she can't work out how to get change from £10 when she gets pocket money and wants to spend it in a shop. I mean, she does have extra needs that, she's got ADHD or whatever, but it's like they're cramming so much in at school. Do you know what I mean? They need to focus on maybe what they need to get them further in life. So like Kaz said earlier, with the money aspect of, how much you need to live and I mean, I'd quite happily, my daughter's Catholic school didn't necessarily teach her all about the Bible. It was forced on me as a child. I'm baptised Catholic, but it wasn't my choice. I haven't entered her into any religion. She can pick that for herself. She's kind of pushed a bit with the God thing at school. But then she went to a Bradford school and that was all, then she kind of got her head around, well, certain people praise a different God to us. And that kind of threw up a bit more questions. But I wouldn't push it on her. I think schools have just got a lot to try and throw on them as it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I ask you a question, Sonia? Did you say your son, right, is
My son's in secondary school and he learns about SE.
Yeah, did he? Oh, all right. So, and he's non-binary.
No, that was my granddaughter.
Oh, so your granddaughter, who's 10 years old. So where did she get that word from? Did she just come home and say, I'm not...
She just said it to her mum, my daughter.
This is what I'm trying to say.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, because there's a danger, because I do believe that maybe she's got it from someone, because how does she even know the word non-binary? She might be
They're
just
teaching in her school. They're teaching you all different types that you don't...
That's what I'm saying. So they're throwing it down kids' throats in some ways. Like,
it's too early.
Kids are getting confused thinking, I'm going to be non-binary today.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's too much that they're trying to teach the children these days. Leave it back down to a man with a man, a woman with a woman, a man and a woman. You don't have to go right into a transgender. Just keep it simple for them. And as they get older, then they learn. Do you get what I'm saying? Because if it is a bit too much for their little brains.
Yeah.
Do you not think there's more important things that the school could be teaching?
There is more important things at school, but if children are learning about it early, then, they're going to get educated. Because I'm not being funny, the lady before, she said that she knew that, I think it was you, Jolie.
Yep. Yep.
That your son knew what your daughter, no, son, what?
My son.
Yeah, knew what he was at an early age. Now, when you're at school and you do learn about things like that, then because you don't just wake up one morning and go, I want to be a girl or I want to be a boy. It's within you. Yeah, it's a long process that they've got to go through. They've got to go counselling. They've got to go. There's loads, because as I said, I've got a 12-year-old. He's got ADHD. We're under the Tavistock, so it's a place where not only kids with mental health issues, it's other children that are not in the right body, yeah? And I sit and I watch and I look at them and, they got to go through a big process. And so when you've got people on this app, like Pearl, like a few months ago, saying she's all about protecting children, when she wanted Alpha Bar in her box so that she could give it to her, that just makes me, Pearl needed, education. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
And again, I think that's where the internet comes into place, because I didn't know anything. My children educated me. Now, like I said, I've got older children. My younger children that are still living at home are 10, 11, and I've got 6-year-old twins. Now, if it weren't for their brother, who's transgender, they wouldn't have a clue what transgender is. It's not until they probably get into secondary school or get on the internet properly that they start finding out about this stuff, because it's not talked about. You find it on social media, you find it on YouTube, you find it on TikTok. And unfortunately, that's where it all stems from, because people are now talking about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, Angie. Jolie, do you live in a really small place, or not like a main, because I'm only in like North Yorkshire, but there's definitely people within the town that are transgender, and maybe it's just my daughter, but she'll say to me like, oh mum, do you think that's a man that chooses to dress as a woman? Because, you know, with some people, they are just transgender, you know, they're at a later stage of life, and that it is quite obvious. Like, I think it's more common than, I don't think it's like rare to have trans people in within your community.
It's not. I live in London, so you know, a lot of the schools around here have got kids that have that are transgenders. So it's not uncommon in London.
Yeah, like the kids surely ask these questions. I think it's our responsibility as parents to, like, you know, educate them a little bit before, you know, high school. There's been kids at my daughter's primary school whose parents obviously dress them as a sex they weren't born in, and the parents have made the school aware of that. You know, there's boys with ponytails that wear pinafores, but the previous school year there were boys. So, and then that sparked the conversation. The teachers have spoke about it with the kids, but obviously the parents are aware of it from a young age and have told, you know, it's something that kids are aware of in my experience.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I personally believe it's how you educate your own. Because my daughter's 34 and she's got her best friend is gay. Now, when he was little, he didn't know whether he wanted to be a girl or a boy. As I said, it's a long process. He grew up and he realised he's just gay, you know, but he's just him. He's Emma's best friend. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's just how you're raised. I'm sorry, or how you educate yourself as an adult growing into the 20th century, and then educating your own children.
Yeah. Hi, Paula.
Hi, Angie. Thanks for letting me in the box. Hi, everyone. I'm just going to have my own personal opinion, and I really do hope I don't offend anybody.
I can't hear her.
A bit low, Paula. It's a bit difficult to hear you.
Right, 2 seconds.
Oops, my food.
Is that better?
I'm just going to get my food. One minute. Oh.
I'll jump out and jump back in again.
Really low, quiet.
Is it really quiet?
Can I just touch on the fact that you said about it's the parents not educating the children? Like, in my defence, 10, 15 years ago, there wasn't internet like there is now. There wasn't information on it like now. You couldn't just go and Google it. So you couldn't educate yourself on something you didn't know. Nowadays, yes, if a child comes out and says, oh, I don't feel like this, or I feel I'm in the wrong body, then, you know, you can run to Google, you can run to TikTok, you can get the information about it. But 10 years ago, there was no information. Very much like autism and ADHD. You know, 10, 15 years ago, if you had ADHD, you just looked at as a naughty kid. Now people are more educated on it. It brings the awareness.
I agree with Joe, to be fair. So my mum, she's in her 60s and she's very much in the opinion of a man is a man, a woman is a woman. And she has no idea about non-binary, pansexual, bisexual. Well, bisexual, yes, but all of these other different terminologies. I think we just got to grow with the times. And like Joe quite rightly said, 10, 15 years ago, it was unheard of. You know, like you said, ADHD, you were, you know, looked at as a naughty kid, or, you know, misbehaving, detention, all that kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, we've just got to all educate ourselves, all grow with the times, and yeah, I guess that's all we can do, really. Like, I mean, I don't have any children, but if I did, it's, you know, waiting for them to come to talk to us, or being open and honest. I don't think it's, yes, we have to educate children. I get it for a certain perspective, but the ones that have already, you know, 13, 14-year-olds, we didn't know anything back then. You know, it was, as I said, unheard of. So the world is changing in a dramatic way, good and bad. And we've just got to listen to the children and grow with it. I mean, in my community, I've got a gentleman that is perceiving to be a woman. Now, do I go up to him and say, oh, you're a man in woman's clothes? No, I've got to respect how they, because I don't know their pronouns, how they're coming across in society. And it's just being respectful, I think, more so than anything this day and age.
I get what you mean with all the different, you know, terminology. That is a bit crazy because there's so many I wouldn't know either. My daughter would probably know more than me, but I'm 38, and when I was a kid, there were definitely, you know, transgender, or, you know, as Ange said earlier, we called them different things then, but it definitely existed. There were definitely men dressed as women when I was growing up, and that was 38 years ago. And I didn't go to school and ask the school what they were. I asked my parents. You know, if I had a question, you'd ask your mum or dad.
And it wasn't, also got to remember these types of things wasn't illegal. You know, it was illegal in this country till I think it was 1971.
That's when I was born.
Did you hear me?
Yeah. It's still a little bit low, Paula.
Absolutely no idea. I'll try and speak as loud as I can. Can you hear me like this?
No, we can't hear you.
I'll just jump out. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Thank you anyway.
We'll try jumping back up.
What have you got for lunch, Ange? Nice.
I just think it's really, it's hard enough as a little person or a person to come to terms with their own feelings and how they're feeling and what's going around in their little head or their head or whatever. You've got people on this app that are just her saying what she says. It just, that really did make,
you know, it's hard enough being gay, not alone trans.
I don't think Pearl's uneducated though. Does anyone else think she's just playing a game? Like, she's not that stupid to say these things and knows it's not
controversial to get on the FYP and to get the viewers and all this.
Get the views and get the clout. Yes, exactly. That's
and as I said before,
it's the same as when she was on Angie's live. She came into Angie's live. She was like all in for Angie, and then as soon as she see that Angie had a lot of followers and a lot of people watching her live, then she turned on Ange. Now she's doing it with CLA. Now she's up there with Miss Red and whatever else. Do you know? She's a clout chaser, man. Proper. I don't care what anyone says. She's a proper clout chaser.
I think she's very uneducated and very much stuck in the old ways, you know, how she maybe grew up. But I think it's just pure ignorance. Like you can not be aware of something, but it's not like people aren't trying to teach her and educate her. She just doesn't want to know.
I agree, Joe.
God forbid if any of her grandchildren, I'm not being funny, Angie, you were on live with her the other night and she had her grandchild sitting beside her and the way that she talks, like, oh, it was, I don't know whether anyone else saw that, but...
disgusting to be even saying the names that she was saying and calling. I'm not saying, like, you know, Andrew's innocent in her argument with her, but to do that in front of a child, I wouldn't have that playing and have my child in the room.
Exactly.
And I don't want to have the conversation about who Jimmy Savile is, and surely that kid was, you know, wondering what...
Exactly. So I'm not being funny. She's not going to be able to educate herself and she's not going to educate her grandchildren, so they're going to grow up thinking the way that she thinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's really sad, isn't it, really? Let's be honest. That's actually
it's very sad. It's very sad because what she said about Alpha Bar, don't get me wrong, right? I don't agree with anything that Alpha Bar does. Don't really watch her, right? But you got to remember, she's 19. She hasn't had, by the looks of it, but had the best upbringing. Her mum does nothing for her, yeah? But for a grown woman to sit on her live and taunt Alpha Bar to get in the box so that she can tell her to her face, she's how old? You know, I'm 9.
67, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm not being funny. Like you're on an app. Like you don't have to be like that. What is wrong with being normal? Like I don't get it.
But again, Sonia, does that come down to what, I can't remember who mentioned it, that it's clout chasing on Pearl's side, getting Alpha Bar in the box because she knows Alpha Bar's got a massive following.
Exactly.
It's quite controversial at the moment with Alpha Bar. Do people like her, don't like her? Does she need guidance? Great upbringing, not so? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just jumping on the clout. From what I've seen anyway, and from what everyone's been saying, that's kind of what it's looking like, to be honest. And I don't know Pearl from Adam, but I was on Miss Red's live earlier, and the way she was going at Mama Kaz, you know, she said, oh, I'm not apologising for my opinion. She jumped out. Everyone was talking about something different. She jumped back in saying the same thing again, probably just to recirculate people to go to her and be like, oh, this lady's got drama.
Yeah, exactly. Go. Yeah, well, I wanted to get in Miss Red's live, but she blocked and deleted me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like,
If someone
our-
Because my point was what I wanted to
Surprise.
say in Miss Red's live was, if anybody knows about discrimination, it should be Pearl, yeah? And she was discriminating against transgenders as far as I'm concerned, yeah? Right? That's my opinion. And I'm not being funny, she gets discriminated for being a gypsy, you know? And she should know how it feels. So when she
still
sits there
do.
and says,
We
because she
still
can
do.
see a bulge, she's a man, like, come on. You know,
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, if I'd have gone on and said, well, when I grow up, gypsies lived in caravans. Like, if you live in a house, does that make you not a gypsy?